Thanks for staying with us today. We're thrilled to have an esteemed business and fashion consultant, show producer, creative director, and authority in transformational leadership. With a remarkable career that spans over 4 decades, Mr. Sola Oyebade, a trailblazing expert in the fashion industry, is here with us to share his insights on how this dynamic sector can drive employment and economic growth. Welcome with us, Mr. Sola Oyebade, also known as Mr. Mahogany in the building. You know, I always heard your name, but I never knew your real name was Sola Oyebade.
I know people always keep thinking Mr. Mahogany is my name. It's not so.
So tell us a bit. I mean, a lot of people know you in the industry because you're obviously a force. But fashion is not something we often discuss. It's something that we just see, we just experience. But nobody has really discussed the business of fashion, how we can actually help the economy. We see a lot of young, small SMEs here, but they're doing like the rare fashion sewing. That's what they do. Let us just sew and put it out there. But there's actual proper business. So tell us a bit about your journey, and then we'll talk about how we can...
fired.
No, I'm not talking.
Well, my journey dates back, like you said, over 40 years. I started in secondary school, believe it or not.
Wow.
You know, I used to do fashion shows because I went to a mixed school.
Okay.
So we used to do choreographed fashion shows and stuff like that. Then I decided to go to England, went to university in Nigeria, came back to Nigeria. Then I got into modeling.
Nice.
Then I was the only male model. No, I think there were 2 of us in Nigeria at the time.
Wow.
Okay.
Because it was very frowned upon. You know, if you were a guy, any male or female,
At the time.
your family, your relatives consider that you must be one of the most useless human beings on this earth.
Right.
You understand? Your mates are becoming doctors, engineers, accountants,
modeling.
and you are doing modeling. You know, but my modeling career actually came to an end when I went back to the UK because I thought I was a superstar. I'd done commercials, I'd done calendars,
Nigeria.
I'd done everything in Nigeria. And I went back to England and says, I'm sorry, but we don't take black people. Because we're on TV, I can't use the more expressive words that they use, but it was a lot ruder than that, you know. It's like using the N-word, that kind of thing, you know. So I decided that, well, since you people don't take them, let me set up my own modeling agency, and I set up Mahogany Models for people of color. And then I was accused of being racist.
Oh, wow.
So I'm thinking, you won't give us jobs,
And then you
then you're now saying I'm racist. So I did that, set up my own show, Mahogany Bridal Show and stuff like that. And that's how I got into it. I did magazines, wedding magazines and stuff like that. You know, that's a quick summation of it. But I got real popularity when I was fighting for black models, and I made the all black Vogue issue, the biggest selling edition of Vogue ever. It was reprinted twice. But that's how I started.
With the robust experience you have in fashion, where will you place Nigerian fashion globally? What's the place of fashion?
Once upon a time, I think our fashion was nowhere. It was absolutely nowhere. Now, we're forced to be reckoned with. Just like music and like with films, yes, fashion has taken over. I'm sure you saw the Oju
Ojudeoba.
I'm so glad. Did you see the colorful, the vibrant?
Weren't you there?
No, I was abroad. I wish I was there. So, you know, that was just amazing. And what I keep saying to people at this time is that fashion is actually bigger than music and movies combined.
Really?
Yes, think about it. Every single time you're on this program, I bet you don't repeat your clothes.
Nah,
Most of the time.
Most of the time you don't, or it's like every 6 months or something like that. And you go to another event, you go to a wedding, you go to this, you have another outfit. The thing about music is that
full, no space for husbands
you.
anymore.
Mine is
I'm one of those people. I have my clothes up in the attic. It's that bad. You know? But when you think about how it works, yes, I could play a song for you. You might say, oh, I don't like it. You might say, I like it. It's not guaranteed, but everybody wears clothes.
Yeah.
And with a population of 220 million, times it by an average spend of just 5,000 per person, you can see how much that is.
It's a huge
Amount of money. And internationally, I mean, you've started seeing films like, what do you call it? I was going to call it Panther. Not Black Panther. What's the...
Black Panther?
Black Panther, yes. You saw them put the infusion of Adire and African fabrics into their clothes and stuff like that. Beyonce has done it. So the world is feeling our presence. Look at Stella McCartney. What was she doing? She was selling African prints for like nearly £2,000. You know, so
Yeah, so you've been in the industry for a very long time. You understand that there are different aspects of fashion. For someone who's looking to go in there, what sort of advice would you give on the specific, aspects of fashion that could, give you the most benefit? Because most times we just major on, like she started her introduction with, we sew and sell. But there are other aspects of fashion that many of us haven't even explored. So how do we look into those those aspects, and how beneficial is it going to be for entrepreneurs?
Well, there's a number of different things. I mean, if you really wanted to make money, manufacturing is fantastic. But do we have the money? Do we have the factories, the infrastructure, the light, the water, and all those sort of things? Do we also have the expertise? So that's also a big issue for us.
Manufacturing the textile or the fabric, or manufacturing.
I think we have the fabric.
We have the
them.
production.
You know, if you see the different things like Adire, they're producing stuff out of Ife and stuff like that. It's locally made and stuff like that. Yes. So I'm not too worried about the fabrics. It's more the expertise to be consistent. I'm sure you as women have that experience that you've you've gone to your tailor, so to speak. He's fitted you, they've measured you, they've done everything. You go back for the fittings.
And it's different.
And it's it's completely different. But I feel that if you want to make money, if I was going to be a fashion designer or somewhere, I'd love to do ready to wear. Because ready to wear is cheap and cheerful, and that's where you make your money.
Really? Not bespoke?
No, bespoke doesn't make you money. Okay, I get 5-6 customers, maybe a month, and you spend $2,000 or whatever. But if I'm mass producing, and I'm selling the equivalent like a Primark, for example, where you're literally selling thousands upon thousands of pieces very cheaply every single day, made from the various countries that make them, you're making a fortune. And with our population, let's look at it. Most of our population is under the age of 25. And they're about 60%? How many of them can afford bespoke? True. That's it. It's ready to wear. They need stuff for work.
One of the concerns I've always had is we don't have like proper departmental stores here, where you go into a store and you have like 20 to 30 different people selling different, still fashion items, but different designs, and we don't even patent this design. So I can see somebody's design and go copy it, and then you feel like I was one that designed this thing myself. Somebody can just take it off the rack. And so what is being done to somewhat put certain things in place, to put a structure in this business?
Well, dealing on the issue of copyright first, around the world, copyright is very hard to do. If you look at the person that did red bottom shoes, they tried to patent it, they lost. Over and over and over again, even though they're the first person to create it, they lost. So it's very, very difficult to patent stuff like that. And when you think about it, nearly everything you're wearing is a copy of something that happened many years ago. If I look at your dress now, I'm sure I can find Marilyn Monroe or somebody like that that has a similar version of it. So fashion goes through phases. You understand? Definitely. All of a sudden, we're wearing tight jeans. If you look back about 50 years ago,
it was a thing.
It was a thing. So it's just, fashion is a continuous evolution of stuff. Departmental stores, the problem that we see in fashion is that people do not understand how much money you can make from fashion. If you look abroad, you look at the Macy's of this world and all those other departmental stores, Sears, they're making billions every single year. But they understand the concept of it. Unfortunately for us, we want instant gratification. So we're thinking, why will I go and invest millions of naira in a store that's going to take me possibly 5 to 10 years to make back my money? So they're not going to want to do it.
So I'm going to ask, what is missing in the Nigerian fashion industry? Let me say something. Most of the time when you talk about fashion, people just believe they're the celebrities they see, they're the icons they see. The common man on the streets mostly doesn't care about fashion. So first question is, what is missing in the Nigerian fashion industry? Second question is, how does it trickle down to the common man in the market?
Okay, I think what is missing is, and I think you've already answered the question yourself by the fact that you said that people don't understand fashion. They don't understand the benefits of it, the financial money that you can make from it. They don't understand it. They feel that it's been a celebrity, and there's so many that we can name that are fashion designers and that are celebrities. But that's inside the industry, I can tell that most of these so-called fashion celebrity designers are not making money. They are not making money.
Not to sustain.
Where they were lucky is they had rich husbands.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, we might go down there. You may not want to agree with me, but I don't want to mention names, but I can. Or they
Shots fired.
We understand.
or they had
Trust me.
fathers
There's an
who had money.
We know they know.
There's an
they know that we know.
exception. There's a Vicky James somewhere.
There are always exceptions.
Yeah.
There are.
Majority.
But the
Yeah,
majority that
understand
really made it and made it very quickly,
Yeah.
that's where they came from. For the common man, he's struggling to eat. What's his mind? So long as he can put something on his body
Doesn't
and
care.
dress, what's his own with it? Because he doesn't feel he has the money, the influence.
To look fab.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
go ahead. I wanted to ask something.
You're asking
Because see, my worry, as much as I love how fashion is involved, and I'm going back to the bespoke version of it. Those clothes I see, the cameras, they look so unrealistic. I'm thinking, okay,
On the
when you take it off,
On the runway.
Where do you put it?
even the
what's the
outfits,
Looking like umbrellas and
for
curtains.
those laymen like us, what's the objective of this kind of very glamorous wear? And I'm thinking, okay,
Is it
But
glamorous?
the objective is simple.
statement.
As soon as you hear the Met Gala, you hear the Oscars,
Yes.
you hear the AMVCA, are you not quickly running to see what everybody's wearing?
yes.
got
It's
the
about making
attention.
a
After that,
statement.
see, after you've seen
Auction,
it,
no.
you
You
go
can
on.
actually auction it afterwards.
Auction it.
Yeah.
Who's
Where in
gonna-
Nigeria?
They say,
Where?
oh, dress worn by Vicky James, and then you say somebody 10 years later.
never
say,
reach
okay, I
there.
want to wear it. But it's in a museum.
You see, clothes is a bit like a certain type of phone. It's aspirational. You look at it and think, oh my God, I love that dress, but I can't afford it. But one day,
I will go
one
there,
day,
yeah.
I will make that money and I will dress like that. In
Yeah.
fact,
Okay.
better.
So the industry is, we talk about the industry like this very organized sector, but like it's not a very, the fashion industry is not organized.
Not at all.
Everybody is doing their own
thing.
thing. I met someone and he was like, I'm a textile, what was the word he used? I'm a textile designer or something like, oh, he makes the fabrics. And I'm like, how many fabrics can you make in Nigeria? I'm like, he was like, there is opportunity here, but the way you're doing this thing, you would make textile fabrics till you die and nobody will hear your name, you know, like, and then we have this pockets of a few people that manage to just make a bit of money or a bit of name. But the industry as a whole, what do you think our fashion industry needs to unify this? Because you said there's a lot more money than music and than movies combined. So what is
Talk about
missing?
departmental stores, yes. What else is missing? What are the missing gaps?
I think the key thing that is missing is government intervention. If you look at London Fashion Week, they have the British Fashion Council that owns London Fashion Week.
Okay.
In Nigeria, Lagos Fashion Week is owned by Oyebade. It's an individual thing. If we look at the show that I have, it's an individual thing. So the government
support.
gives the British Fashion Council 40 million pounds a year to invest in the and to support entrepreneurs, the fashion industry. They, with using that money correctly, turn that 40 billion into hundreds of millions of pounds. Now look at any country in the world that is doing well in fashion, whether it be Italy, it be America, or whatever, you'll find that the government
Paris.
always,
Paris,
yes, always invest in the industry. In Nigeria, we're on our own.
Okay, so I'm going to ask, what do you think is wrong with patronizing made in Nigerian fashion? What thrives more? Is it the made in Nigerian fashion or the designers here in Nigeria? I'm bringing it to why do you think people don't like to patronize made in Nigerian?
I think that has changed.
I'm actually
Everybody's
going to
going
disagree with you on
Nigeria.
that.
Everybody's.
When I was growing up,
Yeah.
if you did not have a label on it, a foreign label,
Yes.
you
are
dare not
nobody.
wear it.
Now,
Who wore
Plans
Nigeria
and the-
now?
yeah.
Even abroad, our kids and stuff like
Yeah.
that, they are
They wear
wearing
designs.
Nigeria and
It's
they're
changed.
wearing it.
The-
It's changed though.
The average designer, I saw some brands and I went to their website. I'm seeing $250,
Yes, sir.
$500 for a suit in Nigeria. $500. I'm like, okay. That also feels like a problem to me. It feels like we have created a sort of like a classist system, and there's nobody doing Zara because they're not seeing the money in being
That's ready
a
to
Zara.
wear. Yeah, that's it. But the
Being
money
cheap.
is in RTW,
Like more
ready to
affordable.
wear.
Yeah.
Be for
That's where the
every
money is.
That's where the
for-
money is.
for everybody. Okay, so let me come back to artisan work, because the industry has designers, those that have like rich husband or rich parents, or like
aunties.
they have they have pedigree and they don't have money, is not their problem.
And pedigree.
But we now have challenge with artisans. You know, people are. There was time we used to bring in people from Togo. It was like the Togolese were the ones that
Yeah.
were making our clothes in Nigeria
Embroidery
and all of that. And then our naira got divided, and they now said it makes more sense to work in my country than to work in.
here.
So we had like a migration. They left, and now we are having challenges with managing the artisan, the work itself. What would you say what interventions can be done to make the fashion industry more competitive,
more professional.
within that space and more professional?
This is a question we ask ourselves every day because it's a very difficult question. Because first and foremost, we look at the Nigerian attitude, and our attitude is we want to make money
Everybody wants to
quickly
be-
and
Yeah.
fast,
Yeah.
and we want to be popular.
Yeah.
So who
Everybody.
wants to sit down besides a sewing machine for hours on end, being shouted at, being abused, and making pittance that cannot cover the cost of looking after their family and stuff like that? So what they do is they come in, they get the experience, and with 2 to 3 months, they suddenly become their own.
Oga.
Yes. So there's not that consistency, there's not that proper training, which is one of the reasons why how many of them know how to do pattern cutting. If you go there and you give them, make me 10 size 10 dresses.
You will get
there'll
7
be
different sizes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We have those issues.
those are the issues that we have. So until we have like an institution, or we have the government intervention, or somebody that has this money decides that they want to invest it in fashion, like people are investing in music and they're investing in movies. I mean, look how much people are investing in movies. If they gave us just half of that money, what we will do with fashion, people will not believe it.
And we're going to very short break. When we come back, continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have Mr. Mahogany with us. So we know you have an event coming up. Tell us a bit about that.
We have an event called Fashion's Finest Africa Epic Show. And we've been doing it now for about 16 years. We started in the UK, and we do it during every London Fashion Week, February and September. When I came back to Nigeria, I decided, and I saw the fashion industry and what was happening, that there were lots of celebrity designers and stuff like that, but there was nothing for new and emerging. So I now decided to set up an event that is for new and emerging creatives. So we have about 60 designers that showcase over 2 days. It's extremely affordable because they're not really paying for anything. The payment for us is to make sure that they show up. Not to really contribute
waste
to
the
the
slots.
event, because if you just keep giving them out free slots, we've realized that a lot of them don't show up or whatever. So it attracts thousands of people that come to watch it, attracts designers, funny enough, not just from Nigeria. We have from Africa, we have from the UK, we have from America that want to get into the Nigerian market, you know. And we also make sure the models that are used are also new and emerging. So they're not all those that get onto the big shows. It's people that are just starting to come into the industry. This is their first break that they get to understand. And we do it to international standards, because since I worked on all the big shows abroad, you know, I try and make sure that it's done at exactly that sort of standard.
So what day is it and when?
It's on the 5th and 6th of July at the Podium in Lekki.
Everybody's at the podium. The podium is like the.
So yes, and it's free to attend. There's
amazing.
anybody can attend. We don't charge. We don't anything.
Yeah, so just speak to Nigerian mentality of cheap is not
Cheap
because
is
she
not
mentioned
quality.
cheap is not quality. She mentioned nobody wants to be like a Zara or like one of all those that is Primark right in Nigeria. I remember when I started my fashion, and I just wanted it to be really, really affordable. And the feedback I got is that we are not buying because it's not expensive. It's not this cheap Ankara that you are using. And I had to go back, like, okay, what am I doing? Why do I want to do this? And then I've decided, okay, now we are going to do the one
But
that you
wasn't
want.
that because you were trying to sell to your friends?
No, not necessarily.
Were you going into the streets? Because that's where ready to wear is sold.
Yeah, I actually started on an online platform selling really affordable, materials, and they were buying. But then, okay, you are right. When my friends now came,
sell to your
they said,
friend.
"Oh, no, it's too hard.
Yeah.
How can you do
So
a
you're
full
right.
dress
So
for 12,000 naira?"
He's a guru. He diagnosed it straight up.
Because so what do we do about that mentality that cheap, as long as the quality is there, the perfection, what's the finishing is there, it's still okay.
Yeah, but you have to do two things. Number one, you have to create like a departmental store, like you said. Number two, you can't be the face of it.
Because you are already.
You can't be the face. Your image, everything about you, as I look at you, I'm just, I can thank you. You understand?
face.
So it's, you can't
Will it
be the
work?
face, yes.
So find
A bland name.
We're fighting after
Yes. A bland name, you create your stores, and you create small stores like what's Rough and Tumble. You see what they've been doing? They're all over the place. And they're doing ready to wear. And she does manufacturing. You understand?
Yes.
That's what they do. Someone like Itwan Bassi as well. They do manufacturing. And it's
Take
the
my face
lower
off it.
end that they do it for.
they
But you
told
will
you
not
before.
see their faces on it.
Right.
They've created a brand name. And everybody knows that that brand name, this is the price range, this is where I can go to. So whether you have money or you don't have money, you can go to Rough and Tumble. You might say, okay, I can't afford all the expensive stuff, but I can go and buy this small
one
little thing or
then.
that little thing. So,
And you
We
get
have to wrap
quality.
up with you, but
I was
thank
just
you.
wondering, you know, what you mentioned the fashion show. Sometimes I'm like, this fashion show, what exactly
Do they gain?
is the advantage of fashion show? What does the fashion show do for you? Because some up and emerging, some upcoming fashion designers, I'm like, why should I go and invest my time into putting a fashion show or joining a fashion show?
yeah, I get asked that all the time. I always say I say to people, why are you coming to do a fashion show? Is it because you think that after the show you're going to sell? And if they say that to me, I say, don't do it.
Okay.
Do not do it. The thing about it is about brand awareness. If you look at Milan, you look at Paris, you look at London Fashion Weeks, you'll see the same designers who are making millions and millions do those shows every
year.
single season. It's about a chance to say, this is my new collection. Can you see it? Buyers are there,
still here.
press are there, and people come and make orders. And they now come and say, okay, yes, you've done this nice, expensive piece. Now do me a version which is affordable.
Oh,
And that's what they
so
do.
that happens
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
They go and make affordable versions, they tweak it a little bit, and it's in the stores.
Thank you so much. We have to wrap up with you. But
Thank
thank
you
you
for
so
coming.
much.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure
Thank
having
you.
you. I mean, I really think I got quite a bit from you. I'm wishing you the
Yeah.
best. And
Thank
hopefully,
you.
as we come closer,
Yeah.
we'll also remind our viewers to make sure they attend July 5th and 6th.
That's correct.
Okay. That's all we can take on the show. We have to go on a very short break. When we come back,
Facing
discuss Benue State and the visit of Mr. President.
Yes, so.
Is our focus. We'll
Yes.
be right back.
Be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.